And so I asked this doctor, I said, is it fair when people say to me or write about me that I'm a medical miracle? And he thought about it a little bit and he smiled and he said, yes. He said, you really are a medical outlier. Most people in your condition, maybe they would be like walking around their living room and then they wouldn't fall over if they were doing that. And so what I've been able to do as my therapist that I worked with at the very end, who I finally found, and he had never worked with anybody who did not have an Achilles either. And he said to me, when people say you're like 1%, you're like the 1% who do that. He said, no, no, no. He said, actually correct them. You're the 0.01%. And it's just a situation that most people just don't recover from. I mean, it's like that Ted Dawson guy I interviewed in Florida. And he's one of the only other people I've spoken to who does not have an Achilles. He used to ride his bike 50 miles a day, and then he had an injury. Achilles area got an infection too, just like mine. But instead of plowing through and really, so he could walk and ride and everything again, at a certain stage, he just gave up.
Yeah.
He'd had several surgeries and just gave up. I think what's a really interesting question is what's the difference between people who succumb to their injury and people who overcome it?